gamers, are you into Triple Triad and want to know how you can use it to make a lot of MGP quickly? Have you ever tried the Open Tournament? If not, you're missing out on one of the fastest ways to make MGP in the Gold Saucer. I'm Debbie, and let me explain. You can call it the fishing boat of the saucer, but the Open Tournament is definitely something not a lot of people have been taking advantage of. Found here in the Gold Saucer, tournaments take place every 2 hours, like an ocean fishing boat, and last for 30 minutes. You can talk to this guy here to look up the schedule and see when the next one is taking place. Then you'll talk to him again at that time and queue for a tournament. After a certain time duration, or when all seats are filled, you'll be placed into a tournament. Each one is only 3 matches, so if you're lucky and queue right away, you can get 4 in during the 30-minute window. That means these rewards quickly add up. When you get into a match, just like a chocobo race, it will tell you how many players you are queued with, so you know who might actually have feelings. Not that it matters. This is Triple Triad, you don't have time for empathy. When you first get in, you'll have to select a duet of cards from each line. You are limited to the cards shown. This is where you need to pay attention to what you're selecting. There is a recommended button if you can't decide, but it's betrayed me before. What you should be looking at doing is selecting pairs of cards that cover all 4 directions so you aren't stuck with every card in your deck having a bottom less than 2, for example. I did that. The tourney didn't go well for me. And you can't change cards in between matches if you did make a mistake either. They give you a generous amount of time to consider your options carefully, so take advantage of that. And when you've decided, you end up here. You will see here who you're matched with for the first table. The first few times I've had another player with me, I've ended up facing them first. I'm not sure if that's a guaranteed thing, but there is something you should know. If you're playing another character, you might get the red deck. This can throw you for a loop, especially if you need to go first. Check the names to make sure which side you're on so you don't make the same mistake I did the first time this happened to me and waste a lot of match time waiting on the other person to make a move, when in fact it was my turn because I was red. Haha. After each match, points will be calculated. Ranking is determined first by the number of points you have, 2 for a win, 1 for a draw, 0 for a loss, and secondly by the number of cards that either you have captured or that you have had captured. For example, at the end of 3 games, if first place is tied because both people had 2 wins and 1 loss, the person with the most captures will win. Once you have played all 3 matches, you'll receive a ranking and a corresponding reward that is MGP and mystery cards. The amount of MGP you receive will vary depending on how well you placed, of course, but if you're number 1, you can see a nice 2500 MGP. If you're able to do that 4 times in the 30-minute window, that's a quick 10k MGP. Plus, those mystery cards you open can either be claimed if you don't have them or sold for additional MGP if you do, so it's a nice little bonus. So maybe you're not the best at Triple Triad and winning isn't your goal, but that doesn't mean the open tournaments are a waste. Placing lower in the rankings still gets you some pretty decent MGP and card rewards, though if you place lower, you'll be rewarded with lower rarity cards. Depending on your server, the likelihood of you playing with other players may be slim or none at all. I played 20 or so tourneys this past weekend and only got another player twice. But then again, I live on Halicarnassus, so take that with a grain of salt. Especially during MGP events. Averaging about 1700 MGP a tourney plus card rewards, that's over 34,000 MGP. I know the weekly fashion report gives you 60, but this is in addition to, not instead of, and you can participate in as many or as few of these tourneys as you want, as they consistently take place every 2 hours, whereas the fashion report is claimable only once per week. If your goal is to quickly afford a glam or maybe maximize your wins from the Make It Rain event, consider adding this to your list of things to do each day. Pick a tourney or 2 to play during the day to add a few thousand MGP quickly to your bank. And if you haven't already been doing your weekly fashion report for MGP, now is the time to start. Check out my quick introduction to it here. Shout out to my patrons who absolutely rock, you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for watching, gamers, and I'll see you in game.